at the heart of this controversy are three key players: Mel, Lexi, and NFletcher. These three individuals have found themselves in a feud that has escalated so much that fans are now involved in a way that nobody saw coming. It all started with subtle disagreements, cryptic social media posts, and indirect shade thrown back and forth. At first, it seemed like just another classic reality TV fallout, something that would play out on screen and be forgotten once the next season aired. But this time, things didn't just stay between the cast members. As the tension between Mel, Lexi, and NFletcher grew, fans began noticing patterns that didn't sit well with them. They started accusing the OWN network of favoritism, claiming that certain cast members were being protected while others were being pushed aside. The accusations quickly gained traction, leading to an overwhelming amount of online discussions about the fairness of how the show was being produced and edited. Fans felt like they were being manipulated into believing a certain narrative that wasn't truly reflective of what was happening behind the scenes. Then, something unprecedented happened. A petition was launched against the OWN network. This wasn't just any random online rant or a few disgruntled fans expressing frustration. This was an organized movement with a clear goal: to demand accountability from the network. The petition began gaining signatures rapidly, and what initially seemed like a small group of upset viewers quickly turned into a massive wave of fans demanding change. They were no longer just talking about the drama, they were actively trying to change the way the show was being run. This petition isn't just calling for minor changes. Fans are demanding major shifts in how love and marriage, Huntsville, is handled, including the possible removal of certain producers, cast members, and executives who they believe have played a role in manipulating the show's direction. They want transparency, fairness, and accountability, and they're not backing down until they get it. The momentum behind this petition is so strong that even people who don't typically follow reality TV are starting to take notice. It has become a full-blown controversy that OWN cannot simply ignore. One of the biggest turning points in this situation was when Lexi decided to drop some serious receipts. Just when people thought this drama might start dying down, she came forward with what she claimed to be proof of behind-the-scenes manipulation. Screenshots, messages, and private conversations with producers were leaked, suggesting that there were indeed efforts to control the narrative in a way that benefited certain individuals. These leaks shook the internet, adding fuel to an already raging fire. Lexi's revelations raised an even bigger question: how much did OWN know about what was happening behind the scenes? If the network was aware of the alleged manipulation and allowed it to continue, then this controversy isn't just about the cast members anymore. It's about the integrity of the entire production. Viewers are now questioning whether they can even trust what they see on reality TV, or if everything is carefully orchestrated to push a certain agenda. This level of doubt is extremely damaging for a network that thrives on keeping audiences engaged and invested in its shows. Despite all this chaos, the OWN network has remained completely silent. Usually, when a controversy like this erupts, networks either address it head-on or try to use it as an opportunity to boost ratings. But in this case, OWN has chosen to say nothing at all. That silence has only made things worse. Fans see it as proof that the network has something to hide, and the more time passes without a response, the angrier they become. The petition continues. To gain traction, social media is flooded with backlash, and the network is being backed into a corner. Meanwhile, NFletcher, one of the central figures in this drama, decided to respond in a way that only made things worse. Instead of addressing the concerns in a calm and rational manner, she went on an explosive social media rant, dismissing the allegations as nonsense and calling fans delusional. She insisted that she had no more influence than anyone else on the show, and suggested that if certain cast members didn't like how they were being portrayed, they should take responsibility for their own actions. These comments did not sit well with fans, and instead of calming the situation, they ignited even more outrage. As the backlash against NFletcher grew, OWN still refused to step in. This only deepened the belief that the network was protecting her and that there was indeed some level of favoritism at play. Many began speculating that if OWN continued to ignore the situation, it might eventually lead to major consequences, not just for the show, but for the network as a whole. With thousands of fans demanding change and refusing to let this issue go, it's becoming clear that something has to give. OWN cannot continue to remain silent forever, and sooner or later, they will be forced to respond. The question now is, What happens next? Will the network finally break its silence and address the controversy? Will the petition gain enough momentum to force real changes in the show's production? And perhaps most importantly, will this entire situation change the way reality TV is produced moving forward? Because if Love and Marriage Huntsville fans are successful in making their voices heard, it could set a precedent for other reality TV shows as well. This drama is far from over, and as more details continue to emerge, the stakes keep getting higher. OWN is facing one of the biggest crises in its history, and how they choose to handle it will determine not only the future of Love and Marriage Huntsville, but also their reputation as a network. If they continue to ignore the backlash, they risk losing the trust of their audience, a risk that could have long-term consequences. So now, all eyes are on OWN. Will they acknowledge the growing controversy and take steps to address fans' concerns? Or will they try to ride out the storm, hoping it will eventually fade away? One thing is for sure, fans are not backing down. And if the network doesn't act fast, they might find themselves facing an even bigger crisis than they ever anticipated. This situation has become bigger than just a reality TV feud. It's a movement that could change the industry forever.